How about a transistor radio resurrection video? I haven't been doing many radios lately. I need to get back into it. I got a little bit discouraged when some radio stations shut down, and just the propaganda, nothing great to listen to in my area. Just, yeah, not real motivating. But it's time to take a look at some transistor radio. So I'm going on a backpacking trip next weekend, and I'm going to be within range of KYET, Cactus Country, which is the closest AM stereo station, but I don't have an AM stereo radio that I think is sensitive enough and that I don't want to take because it's going to get trashed. So I pulled this out of the whatever collection, and this is beat down, but this should be a great performer. So Motorola Ranger, I think this is from 1962. It's in real bad shape. Well, I mean, it's not in too bad a shape, but it's an X31N. The volume control is missing. See, someone took the volume control out. You can see this is a 3 tuning gang capacitor, so this has a tuned front end. So this should really be a good performer. Volume control is missing, dial thing is missing. We don't really care about that. So let's resurrect this. But first I want to take a minute and acknowledge a box of radios that a viewer left with a friend of mine. Electrolit. And we'll do a full video on this, but not right now. I'm sort of focused on this Motorola radio because of how it's going to perform. So what do we have here? Boy, that's a heavy radio. That's a National. That should be a stellar performer too. Panasonic National. It feels like it's got batteries in it. Hope they don't leak. Haven't leaked. Anyway, I should probably... Boy, that's an old one. Look at that. Got a $2 bill. Buys about the same as a $1 bill did a year ago. Okay, these are from Nick. Thank you, Nick. We will address these. We'll address these soon. Okay, I'll address this soon. Okay, he listed some of what's wrong with the video of the thing there. Okay, we got a Jewel here, made in USA. And I think I've dealt with one of these before. Boy, that is crude. I almost can't wait to get into that. This thing almost looks like it was a, what do you call it, a demo radio. Prototype. What do we got here? Realistic AM pocket radio. Oh boy, you know that's going to be a good performer. It's got a schematic. Converter, 1IF stage. Okay, so let's compare this to the Motorola. Let's compare this to the Motorola. Let's look at the schematic. So we got a converter, 1IF stage, one driver, push-pull audio output. Here's the Motorola, the 1962 Motorola. This one, RF amp, converter, two IF amps, two drivers. So this has a transistor before the converter, an extra transistor before the converter, an extra transistor after the converter, and an extra in the audio chain. So this one has a total. So anyway, this has 3 more transistors than this. And yeah, there's a bit of a size difference there. But I need the performance. I just wish it didn't have this heavy, very heavy metal front to it. There's no need for this. Thing weighs like a pound. So I gotta find a volume control. I see Nick also included some IF transformers here. Thank you very much. We will get into this later, Nick. Especially this. I'm very interested in this. This is very crudely made, and I like things like that. But this is not going to be a DXer. So anyway, should probably take the batteries out of this. Should always leave batteries out of a radio. Sounds like it works. Anything in this age is going to have open electrolytic capacitors. Anyway, thanks, Nick. I just wanted to acknowledge this. It's on the list now that I'm sort of hydrating back into transistor radios. We'll get into this, but I really want to get this Motorola lit. So let's dig into this. The first thing I'm going to do is find a 10K volume pot, or a 10K pot. I don't really care what it looks like. I just want to see how this works. A 10K pot, and we're going to somehow rig it to go in here. So once I get the pot in, we'll pick it up from there. Alright, I found a 10K volume control. It's not the right thing, but these radios are really cheap and plentiful, so maybe if this thing is as lit as I think it's going to be, is it going to fit down in there? Like I said, I don't really care if the volume control is all the way back here. It's just for testing purposes. Electrolit. Okay, I've got potentiometers here, and I have this Behringer Eurodesk. There's a lot of potentiometers on this, but I would rather, that's probably some of the cheapest stuff humans can build. I'd rather try and find something like this. These are perfect. In fact, this is absolutely like what was in there. Yeah, this is ideal. Unfortunately, it's 2.6K, which is too low. This one is 4.5K, which is still... Let's look at this circuit for a minute. I'd rather not. Yeah, because that makes up a voltage divider for the AVC line. So if we pull that low, it's going to screw with the AVC voltage. I found something here that's close, 7K, and it's used. So that's looking like the best one so far. This one here is also 10K, and this one looks like a possibility. I'm checking the capacitor that comes off the center tap of the volume control. And it's not great, but it's not bad either. I tested all the electrolytics. None of them are open to where they should prevent this from working. I for experimentation, I put in a 5K double. This looks like a pretty high quality pot. It's just for testing purposes. So let's put power and see what happens. Let's see what happens. I have no idea. I have not tested it. Nothing on the light bulb.
Because I believe that it will. But yeah, it wasn't paying me, so I had to figure out how to suffice, how to do what was on my heart and make money to pay my bills, to feed myself. And people liked my banana pudding. They would pay me like to buy the ingredients, and then I just upped that.
Notice how it's starting to work.
He's having himself a goal-scoring bonanza. What they do. Don't discount this. Don't run away from this too quickly.
This is a reality that people are afraid to talk about. I'm not afraid to talk about it. I'm tired because right now people are dying. Until we get injunctions that actually bar repeat offenders who are not homeless from coming into the area and selling drugs, hiding under the guise of homelessness.
I get to go to events in like the Empire.
I don't see you.
Harold, are you sure?
The engine stalled when we hit the snowbank. Your father is trying to figure out what went wrong and how to get it running again. He won't be outside on the tracks until that is fixed.
Take me like prenup?
All right. We'll give it a try. I think I have some more shovels back here.
Thank you, Harold. I'll help too. I don't want to stay here by myself.
In Huntington Beach over California's housing mandate.
In that first half, then the Clippers
Would change the zoning to allow them to build more than 13,000 new housing units. As John Baird reports, this fight is heading toward a court.
Okay, so let's go to KNX. Then we're going to try and go up to 1090, which is out of Tijuana. And then we'll try 1110, I think.
Homes would harm their city and insisting they need to continue doing battle with the state.
11 key passes. Population is decreasing. The state wants us to build upwards of 13,000 more units in Huntington Beach.
How could you Atlanta? Others say no.
Why did I say the Wizards? Because I'm really in trouble if I said the Wizards.
I just said the Wizards.
The Warriors. It's in April of,
They're concerned about the lack of affordable housing. Good luck even trying to buy $1 million.
anyway, the three teams are blacked out. But anyway.
Okay, so there's 1090.
Hawks under manager Steve Tarantula. And it's just, we're on the final day of the season, unfortunately.
This is pretty sensitive.
But I thought it took a lot out of the vaccine until it's injected into a person.
The report states, it continues by creating a pseudo-legal structure over time that included emergency use authorization, that's EUA, and other transaction authority agreements called OTAs. The U.S. government allowed the military to take over the distribution of vaccines without adhering to historical safety testing guidelines or...
This is pretty sensitive.
According to Motorola, the notion that...
이제 나올 수밖에 없는 이런 show because I really want to have his words, not my words.
한 사람한테 뭐라고 하지 약간 무덤친다라는 느낌이 좀 있어 보이더라.
Wow, this is LA Oldies or K Mozart now, and you can actually hear the digital sidebands on this. This radio is so sensitive. Hear that?
결제가 끝난 후라 참석할 수 있었습니다.
Ahorita vamos a ir unos pequeños mensajes importantes. Estamos al pie del cañón.
Full time, of course, since we're on a pandemic.
And he that old thing. Now carsforkids.com. It's important.
This radio's freaking hot. That's what I thought. I thought this would be a sensitive one, and it is.
Or is it? And what about that bird food that keeps popping up and killing all our culture?
I wonder what station this is. I've never heard this before. They're talking about weather modification and bird flu and...
Fisheries also collapsing around the globe because the oceans are dying. Climate engineering, of course, factor there as well, destroying the ozone layer, which is allowing immense UV radiation to bombard sea surfaces, which is killing plankton, the basis of the food chain, not just for the ocean, but for life on Earth, because plankton produces the vast majority of atmospheric oxygen, up to 70%. No plankton, no people. The climate engineering is inseparable from all of it, and all this is going on. What are most Americans doing, especially this week? They're caught up in the latest scripted political idiocy, completely distracted with absolutely no clue that they're about to be run over by the oncoming train. No clue, and that's exactly what the controllers want. The next headline, multiple sources. Devastating drought in Africa causes famine for livestock, not just people. Everything is dying, including wildlife, like elephants.
I gotta see what station this is. I've never heard this before.
Global hunger crisis. From the UK Daily Mail, a headline of ridiculousness designed to distract, polarize, and divide. This: farmers will be ordered to feed cows methane suppressants to stop them from belching and breaking wind under government plans to reach net zero. I gotta take pause on that one. Collectively, the human race has long since left sanity behind. Yes, there are exceptions, and they know who they are. But taken as a whole, the so-called human race has gone off the deep end, so to speak. Preventing cows from having gas while we're spraying skies all over the world, literally with tens of millions of tons of highly toxic elements annually, destroying Earth's protective atmosphere, killing everything on the ground, from soil microbiome to the tallest trees, everything. And they're worried about cow flatulence. Total insanity. And there's this new report from the LA Times. Acres of LA County sewage sludge threatens to contaminate Tulare Lake floodwaters. The report then states, since 2016, the Tulare Lake compost facility has been converting LA's human sewage into, quote, high-grade organic fertilizer. Ever wonder exactly what's in the bag of so-called organic fertilizer that you're spreading on your vegetable garden? Now you know. And now it seems, thanks to the ongoing crop-crushing weather warfare being waged in California, from the worst drought in over 1,200 years, conservatively, to record levels of toxic chemical ice nucleation, frozen material, aka snow, and record flooding with proven toxic rain that's already laden with a plethora of climate engineering fallout and PFAS forever chemicals. It just keeps getting worse, doesn't it? Everything is contaminated in our world, everything. On that note, this headline from this week, multiple sources: child growth and development hampered by PFAS in blood, study says. This reminder of recent science reports: PFAS forever chemicals are in every single drop of rain all over the planet.
Love my microplastics.
So this study then states potentially toxic chemicals found in everyday products, including fast food wrappers, makeup, carpeting, etc., and every drop of rain, as I just stated, are altering hormonal and metabolic pathways needed for human growth and development. According to a new study, changes in these metabolic markers can be indicative of a number of different health outcomes in the future for the children, such as an increased susceptibility to obesity, insulin resistance, increased risk of fatty liver disease.
5 more minutes and we'll get a station ID.
Parents. Where are the so-called loving parents that refuse to look up and acknowledge that we're being sprayed like lab rats every single day? Where are they? This is Dave Wigington from geoengineeringwatch.org.
This program is sponsored by Global Alert News. The preceding show was pre-recorded.
Riverside, FM 96.1, North County, and AM 1170, San Diego. The Answer.
Okay.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Jason Walker. King size debate on abortion. Planned Parenthood President Alexis McGill Johnson.
It's out of San Diego. I've never heard 1170 before. Never.
A judge in a federal court believes that he has the power to.
This is a new one for me.
23 years.
That was wild. Some wild discussion. As I suspected, this radio is insanely sensitive. Okay, we'll try this out in the desert up against some other stuff. But this thing is insane. I mean, there's really nowhere you don't get a station.
Un día en su victoria sobre la muerte y vivir unidos a Dios para siempre. Y ahora. Right, we told everybody.
Half of us is being litigated.
Ahora se sabe, por ejemplo, que 6 organizaciones criminales tienen bajo asedio al estado de San Luis Potosí, que se están disputando el control de esa entidad, que pues evidentemente al ser un punto intermedio entre ciudades importantes.
Grateful for her generosity, openness.
498-1356. In the series that wrapped up the road trip. On there, and we've done that, so this is now the best of both of them. Yeah, they got takers. About why you're...
Deliver us from evil. William Santana, who works for a homeless nonprofit, is now in 3rd place. The top 2 spots remain unchanged, with community organizer Imelda Padilla leading. Been working behind the scenes at LA City Hall for 10 years. Rose Gregorian, a former broadcast journalist for a local Armenian American TV station, has dropped to 4th place.
It doesn't overload and distort either, which is impressive. We're out in the middle of the mountains in Nevada here. We have some radios that I've worked on, and I'm going to do some testing. And of course, the wind comes up as soon as you hit record. But Joshua trees, so I'm at about 5,000 feet elevation or so, 5,500. And I can pick up, I'm about 100 miles from it, I can pick up KYET, AM stereo 1170. We've covered that station a bunch. Classic country. So I'm testing these radios I've repaired, and this is the true test of performance out here away from the strong signals. And this is the Motorola. There's separate videos on all of these. I'm just going to make this one video to kind of cover all of them. It's a pretty weak one right there.
Part of this ownership group.
Pretty hot radio.
And somewhere along.
Little disco. So unfortunately, I don't have an AM stereo radio that would pick this up. I don't know. It might be too weak anyway, but maybe not. So let's try this one, the Vega. This one, well, you might be watching the video on this one or this one. This one was a real struggle. Someone did something to this that really made me go clinky dinkler. Let's do a few A-B comparisons. This is the one I resurrected. I just happened to find this one at the swap meet or the ham fest or whatever right after I resurrected. So they're both connected to the same power source, 6 volts. We're going to start at Cactus Country and work our way down.
KYET, Cactus Country, AM Stereo 1170.
That's the phone or the... So right below... Louder. This one's louder than the one we resurrected. Maybe it's alignment, maybe it's capacitors. Okay, let's compare this one to this one. All right. Wow. Sorry, Vega, you ain't got the performance. That's all the way up. And this is aligned and working right. So, sorry, Vega. And you're a 9-volt radio, too. No, wait. Yeah, I'm on 9 volts. Yeah, definitely. I'm on 9 volts. Yeah. You suck. There's no contest. This one, city radio. It's not going to even get anything else. Let's try this one. This one is forget, this is another Soviet one. I did a restore video on it. It had a Selga, I think. Let's try the Selga. Looks like we got a couple good music stations out here. Yeah, we got a couple good music stations here. Of course, KYET is out of Arizona, and maybe we're getting Bullhead City. Okay, so far this one's winning. Then this one we resurrected. Then this one. Then this one. This web core is a little distorted. Whatever. Then this one is the bottom of the bunch. I think I got one more.
With light to moderate winds throughout the tri-state. I'm Brianna Cerna for the live and local Camry broadcasting stations. Mornings are made for better things than rheumatoid arthritis or RNA. Zell-Jams with the vitamin.
Oh yes, I need me some Zell-Jams.
When skin and necrosis factor blockers would not work well and could not be tolerated. Lower your ability to fight infection.
This one works okay. It's just very noisy. This one has an FET front end and a chip. I don't know. The untouched Ranger with the corrosion in it that I got for $5 at the swap meet is kicking ass. So, what to do? Which one to take on this backpacking excursion? Because this one's light, that one's heavy, that one's definitely heavy. This...
After the Oscar Ticket 68 and overnight. And the majority of you, your dog deserves the best nutrition.
This is definitely a good performer, this web core. These always need capacitors. I should get the SDR radio and see if it'll pick it up.
For official Camry Broadcasting Contest rules, visit this station's website.
Now more music and more intelligence for your life. It's the John Tesh Radio Show, K-Star 99.3 FM.
Oh, I wasn't even on KYET. I was on K-Star. Awesome. We got two killer radio stations here.
And that neon sun comes up in the evening.
You know what? Stereo would work here. It's strong enough to where I could get the AM stereo signal. Bummer, I didn't bring a... I don't have one. I need to send the one I got back to V Westlife. I just haven't got around to it yet. I could have brought it, but anyway. So there you go. There's our performer. So I'm gonna do this. This is number one. These two are number two. This is number three. This is at the bottom, number four, city radio. And I am sure I got that hooked up to 9 volts. Yeah, I got that hooked up to... I'm actually a little over 9 volts. That's pitiful. Yes, the SDR will get it. So that means it's pretty strong. Bummer. Should have got a stereo radio. Could have had classic country and stereo. Forgot I had this little Sylvania AM FM. And this does not get it on AM at all. Nothing. You can hear it's alive. I would actually expect this to be a little better than that. Try FM.
Janet was the president of the Boosters Club for years.
Good on FM, just completely deaf on AM. Maybe there's something wrong with this thing. See, but it seems to work fine at home in the city. That's the thing, man. You need one of those, what do they call them, those chambers where that's covered with the copper screen you can control the signal strength in. You'd probably still get signals in the middle of LA, even in one of those things. So, yeah. You can see those Motorola's really kick ass. That Motorola Ranger, that's a good radio. There might be a fairly simple explanation why this one seems like a better performer than the one we resurrected. Remember, in this one, the volume control I used was a 5K, and the original one was a 10K. And the volume control makes up a divider network for the AGC or the AVC. So this one being lower, this radio might not have as much gain in low signal environments because the volume control is pulling that voltage off the ground, where this one having the higher resistance. Also, this volume control is bad too. Even though I sprayed it, it's still bad. So these must have had bad volume controls. One other difference in these radios, they're not exactly the same. This is a X31N. This is an X30N-1, and you see the difference right here. CD antenna terminal. Now what I believe this is a civil defense antenna terminal. So if you're using this in an underground fallout shelter, survival shelter, you have an antenna connector to connect a wire that goes outside your shelter. So might need this one soon. That might come in handy. This is an interesting station. It's out of Mexico and it's playing all classic rock. Ooh, Roxy Music Avalon. Yeah, this is out of Mexico. Nighttime DX. There's no overlap. They let one song run completely. God, I hope we're not starting to lose it. This station's a lot of fun. Maybe it just went to reduced power. No, it's there. I can hear it. What is this, Alan Parsons? It is Alan Parsons. This is Alan Parsons. And I don't think the algorithm will be good enough to pick this up with all this noise in it. But I can. Alan Parsons produced Pink Floyd, The Wall. This is called I, Robot by Alan Parsons. Okay, I don't recognize this yet. Oh, God. This is like 1960s style dancing to crappy AM radio out in the middle of nowhere. Okay, let's see what's next. This is I don't know what color your eyes are, baby, but your hair is long. And who did this song? Who? So weird how it completely fades out and there's like a break between songs. We're losing it, man. I was hoping to get to a station ID. God, who is this? I don't want to... I don't want to lose you now. We're losing it. It was good for about 30 minutes of good times. Right at gray line. So it's kind of coming back in now. We might be able to get a station ID at the top of the hour. 8 p.m.
Transmite la música que a ti te gusta con 1000 watts de potencia, acompañando a todo Mexicali y Baja California. 940, con estudios y oficinas en Avenida Madero 1545, Colonia Nueva. Oldies 940. En NTR. Guillermo Ortega Ruiz. Y hay que destacar que la familia Cárdenas, encabezada por el ingeniero Cuauhtémoc Cárdenas.
La COFESE trabaja para que exista competencia, porque cuando las empresas compiten, tienes más opciones para elegir lo que te convenga.
Okay, we're back to the music now. Oh God. Oh, this is this is a really wild mix of music. Is it Cyndi Lauper or is it Expose? This is a really wild mix of music for a radio station out of Mexico. Would you expect anything less? I could never love again the way I loved you. I don't know. I think we're off. I don't think it's either one of those. Next song. Ooh, Dan Fogelberg or Christopher Cross. Dan Fogelberg. We are in the doctor's office now. This is like the dentist or the doctor.
I am about to get my teeth cleaned and flossed for the first time in 3 years.
This is Dan Fogelberg. And you're rolling soft in the doctor's office.
Las canciones del ayer.
Did you get it before me? Okay, this is pure torture. No. Oh, it is. We belong. We belong to the Pat Benatar? Pat Benatar. Yeah. This radio station's a long way away. A long way. Because KTNN comes in better than this. I'll give you a little 360 of where we are out here. Hiked up on one of the peaks. This is where AM radio still kicks ass. AM covers this. I got my little Soviet radio here. We should see how KYET is coming in. Although it really doesn't matter because it's low frequency, it gets down in the valleys and everything. Let's see here. There you go. Come on, show us some activity.
He's camera shy.
It could be very old.
Yeah.
Its head is kind of coming out a little bit.
Man, that's so cool.
Maybe. I don't even know what a tourist track looks like.
Well, there's such like a tail dragging, right?
It is a living rock. Maybe it needs some hot stuff, then it would come out of its shell. That could be arranged, you know.
Yeah.
It is very camouflage. It moves very slow. And it lives a long time. Hold on, don't. It's being live streamed for your social media pleasure. Yeah, it won't walk, whatever.